What's up? How you guys doing? So it's Tuesday, and I'm Andrea. Got a new look today. I went and got some stuff, so I'm kind of happy about it. Yeah, like this thingy, it's all sharp and shit. Anyways, I'm just finally like happy with my appearance right now, so I thought I would talk about it. Anyway, yes, we have some topics. I missed last week. I'm sorry. I was very sick. I just did not feel good. So I couldn't make a video last week, but I'll try to cover both the topics this week, or I will at least cover this new one. So we've been getting some viewer topics, which is fantastic. Thank you guys for sending those questions in. This week, the topic is has shame affected your coming to terms with your genderqueer identity? If so, how have you dealt with those feelings, and what advice would you give someone currently dealing with shame and their own self-acceptance? Yes, so that's a very good question, and a difficult thing. So I would say that I don't really deal with shame concerning my gender so much. I'm actually really happy with my gender fluidity. Like, of all the things in my life, I think it's pretty fucking cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy being gender fluid and how surprising it can be, even if it's kind of uncomfortable sometimes. It makes social situations kind of difficult at times, so I think that shame kind of comes from other people. Like, there's a lot of shit that I have felt ashamed about. So my gender identity is not necessarily one of them, but I can certainly end up, I would certainly end up feeling potentially ashamed of different things based on how other people are and how they treat me. So I think it kind of matters. Like, if everyone is kind of like disgusted with you because you're wearing lipstick or something, and you're not fitting with some fucking gender roles and stuff, yeah, that could make a person feel bad, you know, but to me, I'm just like, hey, my expression's my expression, fuck off, you know. So to be honest, like, I know that's completely kind of different than really dealing with those feelings in the now, you know. But I would say that, like, I've definitely dealt with a lot of shame over a lot of other things, and since I deal with body dysphoria, and it's very difficult, sometimes very difficult, I have, like, shame and disgust and things like that for my own body sometimes, which is very unfortunate, because I like my body. I think it's fine. Yeah, so I think that it's difficult to deal with those kinds of feelings. The shame is a difficult thing. I would say that my best advice that I can offer is get space to yourself or away from negative people that are making you feel ashamed. And be around supportive and good people that will, like, appreciate you and, like, appreciate things about you, because chances are there are probably people in the world who will be like, yeah, that's kick-ass, or like, oh my god, that's so cute, you know, instead of, like, tiptoeing around it, or kind of, like, you know, being passive-aggressive or whatever, or making you feel ashamed, because that's not fucking cool, you know. No one should be making other people feel ashamed. Especially about something so deep and personal as gender or sexuality or any of that. It's really, yeah, it's, you know, it can be hard enough to deal with that. So I would say that having space to yourself is probably my best advice. Space to yourself, getting rid of negative people as much as you can, and finding people that relate with you, hopefully, in those ways, and, like, talking with them, and just being around more positive people, people that will support you. And at least people who are not going to make you feel ashamed, you know. So that's my advice. Yeah, I think that's the best way that I can answer that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing I could say. And I mean, if you can't do any of that, then do things in your own room or your own space and feel good about it. Connect with people online. Most of the people I find that I can relate with, my genderqueer friends, are all online. So I have some other friends now, but, you know, they don't necessarily get it, but I've been able to connect over some stuff. But the best people to be around is people that are kind of like-minded or relate, and if you can't get that, to at least get some space, but hopefully not isolate. Yeah, so totally cool to be you. You can do what you do, you know, as long as you're not hurting people, it's not any problem, you know. I don't think that there's any place for judgment or shaming people or anything like that. In reality, it's just what it is. So whatever you're doing is probably awesome, you know, it's probably totally fantastic, and you should be able to do that. You know, like whatever you want to wear and whatever, you know, whatever else. I like to consider safety, to be honest, because that can be a big deal, but you should be able to express things. You should be able to express yourself, not have to worry about how other people are going to treat you. So my best advice is to get some space and be around supportive people. Yeah, so that is that. Bonus question is totally rad. The bonus question is, sorry, I'm pulling up my music. It says, the bonus question is, what song, album, or artist do you like to listen to when you're down about your gender identity? That's a fucking cool question. I like it. So I don't feel like I particularly get down about my gender identity, but since it's fluid, like sometimes I like different music, and I certainly get body dysphoria, and that can be hell for me. So yeah, so I'll just go through this list kind of quick, like a few things that I really like. Sometimes I like a little bit of like this underground hip hop. Burial is the name of a band that I like, and Beach House I love as well. It's kind of like slow in a way, sort of depressed, you know. Sometimes it helps to have music that sort of fits my mood. Beck I still kind of like, sometimes not really, but sometimes yeah. Billy Talent is pretty fucking kick-ass. I was listening to Blue October because I was really fucking moody the other day and down about shit, and it was great. It's just like so sad, you know. That really helps, I guess. Bright Eyes is like really cute and sad. Broken Social Scene is like my gay album when I feel like a really fucking hot fag or something, in like the best way, like I can say that, like, you know what I mean. Yeah, so when I'm feeling like a hot fag, I'll listen to Broken Social Scene because it reminds me of some friends of mine and stuff. Like I said, Burial is good. Cake is fucking cool. I have like 4 of their albums and they're badass. Caribou I really love. Just spin out and not think about shit. It's just kind of trippy. Crystal Castles I fucking love. Alice Glass is awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that when I just can't even feel it. Like I feel like I can't even speak. I'll just listen to some Crystal Castles. It's so like vocoded and stuff. Not to get too technical. Dead Mouse is good as well because it's like instrumental mostly. Deer Hunter if you're really trippy as fuck. Empire of the Sun is quite nice for like embracing a kind of range of feelings, I guess. Fortet is other good instrumental stuff. It's kind of technical. And Future of the Left is great for when I'm fucking pissed. That's an awesome like Welsh band. Not particularly like the nicest stuff, but you know, whatever. Gorillaz. I listen to a lot of Gorillaz. Gorillaz is always fucking sweet. Good like driving music, even though I don't have a car anymore. LCD Sound System is great. Moby is good. It reminds me of the club scene, and that's a little bit like gendered to me, so sometimes it's really off-putting. You know, sometimes like I just don't want to listen to anything that's got gendered connotations. I don't really listen to The National anymore, but I used to a lot. I was like struggling with if I was a man or not and things like that, and found out that I wasn't and stuff. Nine Inch Nails is always good when you're fucking goddamn depressed and angry and things like that. Nine Inch Nails. Paramore I used to listen to a lot more. Perfect Circle and Tool, and I think I'm done with this. I'm giving you all a bunch of bands. So let me touch on the other topic real quick. So that's my answer for this week's question. I hope that was a good one. Okay, so this the one for last week is about dysphoria, and basically do you have to experience dysphoria to be trans or genderqueer? So transgender is a different thing from genderqueer, but you can be both. I personally identify as both, like trans, feminine, and genderqueer. So yeah, I deal with a lot of body dysphoria, and I think most people deal with some degree of dysphoria, maybe social dysphoria or body dysphoria, that identify as trans in particular. And I think a lot of us that are genderqueer will deal with some kind of social like complexities, which could be very uncomfortable or maybe even detrimental to our social lives, potentially. So yes, you can identify as either of those without experiencing dysphoria. That is totally possible. I think most of us do have some kind of dysphoria, and again, I have like really serious body dysphoria, which relates to being trans for me. But yeah, you can identify as those, and you don't have to be a spectrum identity or anything like that, but you can. So what else was a part of this? And is the genderqueer identity the result of suffering from dysphoria equally when put in the male or female category? Probably not. Like it's just my perspective, you know. But it's probably more related to that than dysphoria, though. I think there's a lot of us that experience some kind of discomfort around being perceived as, or treated somehow as like male or female, or like a man or a woman. So I think the kind of a fundamental thing to me which makes a person genderqueer is not identifying with either of those, or identifying as like both of those, or a mix or something like that. So there's probably other narratives as well, you know, because there's lots of ways to be genderqueer or trans. But I think that, yeah, for the most part, that's kind of the thing. It's not that we'll necessarily suffer equally from, you know, dysphoria from being categorized as either male or female, but I think most of us have different experiences related to like male, female body categorizations, or men and women, and like social like gender roles and stuff. So as I've said before, I reject body categorizations. I consider myself more trans feminine, and I like she and her pronouns, and I go by Andrea. Yeah, and my experience as it relates to like men and women and stuff like that is kind of neither. Like neither of those, but sometimes things which maybe are close or have some overlaps with like either of those or both. But mostly I feel like my experience is completely different from those things, and that is what makes me genderqueer, I think, those inner feelings deep down. So yeah, I think that's how I will answer that. So I know I talked really fast and went over things, but hopefully that made some sense to you guys and was helpful. Definitely a good couple topics there. Really appreciate all the viewers and everything. It's been really cool. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing great, and please feel free to leave comments as usual, or video responses or anything. And yeah, I apologize for not getting back to any of the comments on my last video, I think from a couple weeks ago, but I read them, and I always appreciate you guys' perspectives and chipping in and talking about stuff. So yeah, keep on rocking. You guys are great. I really appreciate the support, and thank you so much, Matt, for the really nice message, because I was having a really hard day yesterday, so I really appreciated that. And yeah, I hope everyone is doing great, and that you'll have just an awesome week and a wonderful trans and a Thanksgiving, because that's coming up. So alrighty, take care, peace.